Hi Adorners, it's time for some old school salmon croquettes and creamy dreamy grits. If you're interested, please keep watching and welcome back to Adornment with Adrienne.
Okay, so welcome back. Today I'm going to be cooking up some salmon croquettes in honor of my grandfather's birthday. My grandfather Poppe, who I called Poppe, he would have been 101 years old tomorrow, and this was one of his favorite breakfast meals that my grandmother used to cook. There is salmon in a can that you can get, or you can get it in a little packs, but I'm doing it old school style, okay, the way my grandmother used to do it, with the little bones and everything. Okay, so we're gonna cook up some creamy grits. For our grits today, we're gonna be cooking up some creamy grits using instant grits, but we have a secret ingredient. We're gonna be using some heavy cream. If you've ever been to Atlanta and you've been to Flying Biscuit and you've had their creamy grits and you wonder why, it's because they do include a heavy whipping cream or a heavy cream in their grits. So for our grits, we're gonna be using about a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Okay, and that is we're gonna have some butter, of course, about 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna use salt to taste, of course, but we're gonna be using some heavy cream, okay, and that's gonna make our grits really fantastic. If you're ever in the Atlanta area and you wanna try a good breakfast spot, you're like, oh, I'm visiting Atlanta, where should I go? I would definitely recommend to try the Flying Biscuit. And if you want lunch, if you want old school, I would say definitely, well, I would tell you to go to Busy Bee, the beautiful Busy Bee, or you go to Mary Mac's Tea Room. Okay, anyway, let's get started. Okay, Adorners, so I got my glasses really quickly. All right, so we're gonna be using some quick grits. These are just Quaker instant quick grits, cook in 5 minutes. But instead of 2 cups of water, we're gonna do 1 whole cup of water and then a 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and then we're gonna finish it off with water. So basically 1.5 cups of water and a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Okay, 2 tablespoons of butter, and I would say at least a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we don't do sugar. I don't know about that. You know, some people do, but this is not a sugar recipe. Because we're cooking up our salmon croquettes, I couldn't find Old Bay, but I suggest if you are going to be cooking this up to definitely find Old Bay. Okay. All right. So I have some Badia, just Cajun seasoning. Okay, so that I'm going to be using for our croquettes today. We have a white onion. We have 1 whole egg, 1 can of salmon, 1 egg. Okay, a quarter cup of flour. All right, that I'm going to be adding to our croquette. Okay, salt and pepper to taste. We have our Cajun seasoning. So we're going to mix up our ingredients, and then we're going to fry them up in a pan. All right, so we have a white onion. You can use yellow if that's what you have, or if that's what you want. My grandmother used to cook this. She always used to use white onion for some reason. I don't know. And I'm going to dice it up kind of small because some people don't like onion. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, and I'll be right back. With our leftover salmon croquettes today, we're going to be using a nice roll and some tomatoes, sliced onion maybe, and salmon burger. Okay, and so, okay, Adorners, so I've taken a medium-sized pot and I've added in 1.5 cups of water, and now I'm going to add in a 1/2 cup of heavy cream and 2 tablespoons of butter. This is for our gas. Some margarine, butter, have 2 tablespoons. I have some sea salt that I am going to add to it. Let's see. I would say about a quarter tablespoon. Okay, then I have some Louisiana Cajun Badia seasoning. Okay, I wasn't able to really find any Old Bay, so I might add that. Of course, we're gonna add in some pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this start to boil, and while we make up our salmon croquettes. Okay, Adorners, welcome back. So I have 1 large egg, and I am going to add it to my pan really quickly. Okay, Adorners, so I have 1 large egg that I've whisked up. 1 large egg that I'm whisking up with a fork. Okay, Adorners, so I've gone ahead and I've drained our salmon, as you can see here, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to our egg that we whisked. Okay, we have 1 large egg that we whisked up. All right, so let's go ahead, and you can see it's pretty big flakes in our salmon coming out of the can. Okay, old school way is just to take the whole thing. If you see a bone in the middle, all right, I'll show you. there's a bone in the middle. Here's the bone. It's usually in one piece, all right? And you just go ahead and take that out. For salmon, I'm just gonna kind of separate this. Kind of looks like a little bit of tuna fish, but not really, okay? But we don't want it to be in chunks anymore, okay? Let's see. All right, so that's our salmon. I'm gonna add in about a quarter, maybe a tablespoon of flour. All right, my grandmother always had flour in hers. All right, so we have our flour. As I said, I couldn't find any Old Bay. Let me turn my water down. So as I said, I wasn't able to really find any Old Bay. So I'm gonna be using this. And I probably will say this is about a quarter teaspoon. I don't really cook by measurements, but I'm gonna put it in to taste. Okay. So it's almost like adding some tuna fish, right? With an egg. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and dice up our onion, and I'll be right back. Okay, Adorners, I just wanted to show you. I'm using a white onion. I cut a slice out of our white onion, and I'm just gonna take this up, the outside, of course, of this off. And if you're not someone who likes the smell of onions or it makes you cry, of course you can do this underwater, okay? You can put this in water, but it doesn't bother me so much anymore. Okay, and if you need to get the onions smell off your hands, of course you can use dish liquid and baking soda. Okay, so honestly, I think I'm gonna add in a little bit more seasoning and some black pepper. Okay, all right, we want it to have a good taste. I can smell it. It actually kind of smells like Old Bay. If you can find Old Bay, get you some Old Bay. Okay, make about 5 nice size patties out of this. Okay, Adorner, so I've gone ahead and I've made up about 5 patties. One is a little bit larger, like a salmon burger sandwich for maybe tomorrow or something for lunch. But anyway, so as you can see, we have our patties already made up. Patties started to brown, so our pan is hot and ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add in our croquettes. Stir in a half a cup of quick grits to our boiling water. Now, if you wanted, as I said, if you wanted to add the flavor of the seafood seasoning to your grits, you could sprinkle in, you'll just sprinkle in a little bit. You can sprinkle in a little bit of Old Bay, or this is, like I said, this is a Cajun seasoning. This is what I could find. You can see that? It looks wonderful, all right? Grandma used to make these so much, and I always loved them. Most of the time she actually would cook these with most of the time she would actually cook this with, I'm gonna turn my grits down just a little bit. Most of the time she would actually cook this with home fries, which I'll have to do another time. Her home fries in a skillet were so good. You see me, I'm saying about don't. I'm telling y'all not to jump, and I'm jumping. Okay, here from that oil, baby. Woo! All right, you can see that. Okay. This one we're gonna use for a sandwich. I'll plate that up. You can see how you can have that for a sandwich. If you need to warm it, you can just warm it for about 30 seconds in a microwave. Take it with you to work. Or, you know, honestly, it doesn't have to be heated up. All right, so those are our croquettes. And you can see they look so beautiful. Let me turn the light. As you can see, they look so beautiful. All right, they're browning nicely. All right, that was about what? That was about 3 to 5 minutes on one side. All right, so our grits are cooking up. All right, so we're gonna add in that heavy cream, and about a quarter cup of heavy cream, and a quarter cup of water more. So our croquettes are almost done. I'm gonna use a paper towel to plate these, okay? And then I'm gonna use a paper towel to plate these. And for our grits, we're gonna turn them back up. All right, I'm gonna add in some salt. This is sea salt. Of course, if you want regular salt, you can do that, but I'm trying to watch my sodium. All this cooking is going on. Okay. one more. It's nothing like grits that don't have enough salt in it. It's basically time to go ahead and take out our salmon croquettes. I'm gonna get a paper towel and I am going to add in some cheese to our grits. Okay, so I have some Colby Jack cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a nice handful to my grits. Okay, Adorners, so our grits are almost done. I've added in about a 1/4 cup more of quick grits, okay? I've added in about a 1/4 cup more quick grits. As you can see, cooking up nicely. My grandfather used to say that stuff tasted fresh if it didn't have enough salt in it. But I'm trying to watch my salt. Okay, so I'm using sea salt, as I said. So here we go. And because we have the Cajun seasoning in our croquettes, I'm gonna add just a sprinkle more. And our grits are so creamy and beautiful. Now, if you know me, back in the day when I was a little girl, they used to have to make me eat grits. And it's a whole story. And my cousins, they all sit around and laugh at me about it because the grits used to get cold on the plate and they still would make me eat them. But now I actually like grits. Alright, so as you can see, we have our beautiful, let me see. Alright, so we're going to let this stand for about 2 or 3 minutes and then we're going to plate up. Alright, Adorners, as you can see, our croquettes are done. They look so great, don't you agree? Like old school, like my gramps. As you can see, our creamy grits are done. Nice, cheesy, beautiful, nice and creamy, beautiful grits. And I'm gonna go ahead and plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate up some grits real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and plate up our grits. Okay, Adorners, so that's our old school salmon croquettes and our creamy, dreamy grits. Okay, like I said, copycat if you've ever been to the Flying Biscuit in Atlanta. And if you haven't, if you ever go to Atlanta, try them out. Okay, they're all over the city. Try this out. Oh, I haven't had these in such a long time. When was the last time you had salmon croquettes? Grits. Bye-bye, that's good. Woo! I feel like my grandma just cooked in here. But of course she would have had a cast iron skillet. Oh my goodness. This is bringing back the memories. If you haven't had this in a long time, you should try this. Because if your grandma used to cook this, or your pop or your auntie, definitely try this out. So good. Okay. As always, thank you for joining me with Adornment with Adrienne. I am your girlfriend or your auntie of lifestyle and decor. And as always, instead of saying goodbye, I say saving hello for another time. See you in the next video. Please be sure to click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.